What is going on, you guys? Nick here with another video. Today is more of a follow-up video to the video I did last week involving different applications on GrapheneOS, and then the video prior to that, which was getting Google Play services running on GrapheneOS. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I uploaded those only a couple days apart from each other. I can't remember now, and I'm not looking at it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is somebody commented and said that I didn't really cover how to get apps once you have Google Play services installed. So this video we're going to talk about that, as well as I'm going to add to something that I didn't mention in my previous video. I guess I'm going to follow up with something that I didn't mention. It's that if you're using GrapheneOS and you want to run Google Play services, it can be very helpful to utilize separate user profiles. So I'm going to show you how to do that here. Basically what you do is go into settings and then do user. Sorry, I'm not used to typing in landscape mode here. I think it works better for the video overall. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you'd rather see it in portrait mode as the way you would normally be using your phone, or if you like seeing it widescreen to where it fits better on your screen when viewing the video. Okay, so you saw where I started to type user profile in the settings search. Now I'm just going to profile. We're going to say add user profile, and you can see I already have one, but we're not going to switch to that just yet. You would hit add user, hit OK, give it a name. We're just going to call this one new user, and then it automatically brings you to the setup screen, so you can switch on or off calls and SMS. I kind of like leaving that off. And you, of course, if you're going to install applications, you don't want to disallow installing of apps. I'm going to go ahead and delete this user right now, and then I'm going to switch over to my Google user, which it's going to stop the recording when I do that, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it in advance. But what you do to switch users once you have it set is you just pull down on your notification shade and you hit your user account, and then I'm going to hit that Goog user in just a second. Okay, so you can see I'm in my Goog user now. You can see I've got the little red icon, and you can also see that I have the Photos app in addition to the Google Camera pre-installed. I'm going to show you how to get these applications. People ask me how to install the camera. The easiest way by far to install it is to just use the Play Store. Once you've installed the applications, you can see I've made a separate Google account for this. It's not my main Google account. This is lolnawyouggood@gmail.com, and all you need to do to get an app is search for it, and then you can download it. This Google camera, Google is capable of detecting what device you're using, so in this case it knows that I'm using a Pixel 5, so it gives me access to the Pixel 5 camera. And when you install an app, here we'll uninstall the camera, and then I'll reinstall it from Google Play here in just a second. Let's do that now. Information, uninstall, okay, all happy, and then go back to the Play Store, and we're going to tell it to install. So what you'll see happen is it's going to download the app, it's going to install the app, but it's never going to seem like it finishes installing the application. So this is mentioned in the GrapheneOS notes, and also the first time you go to install an app, you're going to have to give the Play Store permission to install applications. Anyway, it's going to hang here at installing forever, and you won't be able to install other apps from the Play Store until you force closed it and open it back up. So the way you can make sure that it installs your application is go home and then wait for it to appear in the app drawer, which in this case it's right here. So now let's go back into the Play Store, and I'll show you a quick way to kill a program if it's misbehaving or if it's doing something like this. So swipe up to get to your recent apps, hold on the icon for the app, hit app info, force stop, and now it's been killed. And then we can pull it back up, and we're good to go. We can install other apps if we want to, although I have no intention of installing any Play Store apps. This is just to show you guys what the camera looks like. So let's go do some comparisons. Okay, so we're reaching that lovely time of year when the flowers and things are starting to die, but the leaves haven't yet started to change. So I went outside, found a few flowers that were left, and took some pictures of those. This one, as you might have guessed, is already looking kind of blurry. This is one that was shot with just the normal GrapheneOS camera. You can see it's trying to do some autofocus and focus on the main subject of the shot and blur the things in the background. However, it's not a very windy day at all. I mean, I look out and the leaves are barely moving, but that seems like it's enough to just blur what's going on. Graphene does not make any claims to their camera, and the camera is just not very good if you're somebody who likes taking a lot of photos. Personally, it doesn't bother me. Most of the pictures I take are just of serial numbers and things, so it doesn't really matter. And you'll see I took another portrait style shot here instead of like the landscape shot. And you can see it just really doesn't capture that much detail despite there being plenty of light available. The sun is actually shining directly onto this part of the garden. This is another flower in the garden, and again, this is the GrapheneOS camera, and you can see it's just missing so many details from around the photo, or from the picture. So then you can see here's a landscape shot of the same flower. And then we switch over to the Pixel. And it still holds true that the Pixel camera, the Google camera, I think personally, maintains the most true to life shots. You can see a lot of detail on this, but as you approach, there's not a whole lot of smoothing going on. Like, this is a very fuzzy type flower, and it's just not, it doesn't look bad under any circumstances on this phone screen anyway. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like when you blow it up. The fact that it was moving slightly didn't seem to make a difference, and you can see it's blurred out the entire background and made this the primary focus of the shot. I think I did shoot this in the like quote-unquote portrait mode, where it tries to blur out the background as much as it can. But you can see here it's done a fantastic job of that, and I think you can edit. Yeah, it says it's portrait mode here. I think you can edit it, how much of the background gets blurred out and things after the shot. And then here's that first flower that we looked at from the GrapheneOS shot. This is it reshot with the Pixel. Still not a good angle, but I'm not an amazing photographer. But you can see way more detail in this photo. And then here is another shot from the Google camera as opposed to the GrapheneOS camera. As we go along here, and then we're getting back to the GrapheneOS camera. So you can see, I mean, there's a pretty significant difference between the GrapheneOS camera and the Google camera, not just in how well it captures the image, but in the range of features that you have available to you. So, if photography is your thing and you like using your phone to capture photos, then you're probably going to want to try and get Google Play services installed on your Pixel, or just not use GrapheneOS at all. Or if you're really into photography, you should go and get a camera, because even though these photos look good on these phone cameras, it pales in comparison to what a DSLR can do, especially if you know how to use one. So, I mean, really, it just becomes a matter of, do I want to take really good photos with my phone? Do I need to be able to do that? For me, the answer is no. It's easy. No, I don't need to be able to do that. The only reason I have any of these on this phone is so that I can show all of you how to do it. There is some danger in, adding all this functionality back in. Like I said, Google now knows that this is a Pixel 5 and it is associated with a Google account. So that does compromise some of my privacy. Even though they don't know who I am, they probably have my IP address. It's not, it compromises a lot of your privacy installing Google Play services on your device. You can deny it internet access and all kinds of stuff, but that will make other things not work right. So really, you just kind of have to pick a side. Unfortunately, there is not really much middle ground. It's like, yeah, I'm giving less information to Google, but they're still using that to its fullest extent, and I'm not okay with that. So you have to make your own decision. You have to figure out what's important to you and what your threat model actually is. For me, it was really easy to just walk away. Surprisingly easy, in fact. I was pretty deep in the Google ecosystem. And I mean, now I still have 3 phones, right? I have my Pixel 5, I have a Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, and I have an iPhone 12 Pro. So, but I make YouTube videos about phones and things. So, for me, it makes sense to have those 3 devices, and I can keep my personal stuff on my Pixel, private communications and things. I do most of my YouTube videos on my Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, and then my iPhone I carry with me to monitor my YouTube channel and things without all of Google's tracking and everything like that. And also, I have an app that I have to use through work that requires push notifications, and so I'd rather use the iPhone push notifications than the Google push notifications on the Pixel. So anyway, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. If you guys liked it, make sure you leave a like. Give me a subscription to the channel so you can see more videos like this and keep up with what I'm doing. Leave comments down below with other stuff you'd like to see or with commentary on the video, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I or somebody will probably be able to answer them. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.